The Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity has announced they're moving their 2025 annual convention out of Florida. The fraternity, established for African-American men, says Governor Ron DeSantis has, quote, harmful, racist, insensitive policies against the black community. They said they made the decision following the state's new social studies curriculum approved just last week. Here's the part that's come under fire. Middle school students will be taught about various kinds of work enslaved black people were forced to perform. Some examples listed: agriculture, carpentry, and transportation. And then it says this, quote, instruction includes how slaves developed skills, which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. In a moment, filmmaker Spike Lee's reaction to those new guidelines. But first, what Republican presidential candidate and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said about all this last night.
These standards really were born out of that, and these are very thorough standards done by African-American history scholars. There is no agenda here. It is just the truth, and they talk in gory detail a lot of the bad in American history, including, of course, the injustice of slavery.
So DeSantis is now saying that there's no agenda here.
I don't think he's educated about enslavement of my ancestors. Even they did have some skills, they were still enslaved. It's not like they opened up a business. It's not like they could profit from it. And another thing I'd like to say, I want to thank my wife, Tanya, because I kept using the term slaves.
Which they actually use
their curriculum. You got to say enslaved.
Enslaved, yes.
It's a big, big difference.
It makes a difference because it's not...
It makes a difference.
To identify somebody just as a slave.
Words are important.
This is a person who was enslaved.
And when you told me to come on your show, I had to pull my hat in because 1619, that's when enslaved African people were brought to this country, were stolen from Mother Africa to work the stolen land from the Native Americans. For me, I always go back, for me, that's one of the foundations of the United States of America. The stealing of enslaved people to work the stolen land from the Native Americans and work from sun up to sundown and not be treated as human beings.
It also, you know, I just want to read the text again of what Florida is now requiring from middle school students. It says instruction should include, quote, how slaves develop skills which in some instances could be applied for their own personal benefit.
How can it be for your personal benefit when you're treated as an enslaved person? It's not like, oh, I'm a blacksmith. Okay, I'm going to put a shingle out there. I'm going to be a blacksmith. You were owned by Mazza.
One of the arguments being made by supporters of Governor DeSantis is that that schools were teaching kids to hate America by teaching, you know, the history of slavery in this country, the history.
You learn to love America by learning the truth, the good, indifferent, and bad. That's what America is. We're trying to aspire to a dream, but we're not reached there, what Dr. King talked about. But you cannot look straight ahead and not see what's happening to your left and your right. How can you, if you're talking about the history of this country, United States of America, how can you just like, a pun, white out enslavement? How can you do that?
So what would you, if Ron DeSantis was taking advice from you, what would you tell him?
The thing about, here's the thing, I'm gonna be honest with you. Because I'm a tenured professor of film at NYU Graduate Film School, and teachers, my students say, what if? I said, I don't like that word if. I mean, like, I don't go by if. Me and him never gonna meet. We ain't gonna talk about nothing. So.
Maybe you'll be invited down to teach a course.
To where?
I'm
gonna say Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago. Well, you could teach a course there too.
Well, I teach cinema, so I want to thank you for having me on this show because this is some really dangerous stuff that this this governor. And is he doing it for his presidential race? I don't know, but it's ill time, ill thought, and it's not the truth.
When he talks about, Florida's where woke goes to die, that woke corporations are a problem, wokeness has infiltrated every
What is
aspect.
wokeness? To say that black people have a right to be free and not be shot down by police or any other people? That's what woke means? We can't march in the streets and say Black Lives Matter? We can't do that? I don't understand what woke means. And it's a catchphrase, which is caught on with the people who believe like that, and I think it's dangerous. I think it's dangerous.
Spike Lee, thank you.
My brother.
I appreciate it always.
Yeah.